To the full commission meeting, we're calling the meeting to order. And if we would have roll call,
Commission roll call, Chairperson Bates Fry,
here,
Vice Chairperson Fagan.
Here.
Treasurer Smith. Here. Secretary Ardress present, and moving from Commissioner Moore.
Present.
Commissioner Neal.
Present.
Commissioner Dallas.
Here.
Commissioner Wenning.
Here.
Commissioner Kepler.
here,
Commissioner White.
Here.
Commissioner Maddox. Here. Commissioner Montana. Here. Commissioner Bates.
Here.
We are 13 of 15 quorums.
great, thank you so much. We're gonna add to the agenda, there's gonna be two very, very short presentations. And so we're adding, Hilltop Arts Collective and NAMI. So they'll speak briefly, about their, programs and a couple of other things. So we're adding those to the agenda for presentation. Okay. And did everyone get a chance to read the minutes? They are sent via email very promptly. Our secretary is very good at that. Were there any additions or deletions to last month's minutes? Okay. I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
So moved, minutes are approved. Yes, right along, I like it. Okay, so now we have the City of Columbus staff reports. I don't think is Sergeant Brophy here or a representative of his. No, I like to give a moment. Nope, okay. So next is the city attorney's office. Is our zone attorney here? Anyone else to represent him? Okay, it's the beginning of summer. Okay, yeah. City Council Division of Community Engagement, Mr. Calloway, is he here? Short meeting, okay. Department of Neighborhoods. I know Ola BC is here. She's always here. Yes. Thank you, Miss Eddie. You need it? Okay.
All right, good evening, commissioners and audience. I have a few announcements today. The right-of-way transfer request that I had submitted or shared with you, I think it's about a month ago. Those comments were shared, and I heard back from the assigned representative that's handling that request. So nothing south of the property line will be considered as requested. The process does require staff to reach out to adjacent property owners. So I know that was also a request that the property owners be notified, and they will be. And yeah, that's it. So that's status update on the right-of-way transfer for Algonquin.
Does everybody know what she's referring to?
No, man.
Does everybody remember? Do you want to give some?
Oh, sure.
clarity on
Yeah,
that?
sorry about that. Let me give a bit of clarity. So once in a while, we get requests for right-of-way transfers, whether it be for a business or, well, from a property owner, just to take over part of the right-of-way, whether that be the tree lawn or part of the sidewalk, things of that nature. So it's now Department of Neighborhood's policy to make sure that we forward those requests on to you, so you have an opportunity to give comment or make a request or just provide feedback. So the first one that came that pertained to the Hilltop Area Commission was right-of-way transfer request for Algonquin. So I forwarded that to Chair Fry, and she forwarded that on to the Economic Development?
Yeah, is that what I'm saying? Okay, yeah.
Yes, and they reviewed it and gave some comments that I forwarded on to the right-of-way transfer team. And that was the feedback that I received, that both of the comments and considerations are taken into account and will be followed up.
Any questions regarding that, or just because this might be the first time some of you heard about it? No, okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. The Department of Neighborhoods has funding allotted for alley cleanups this summer. We're gonna be targeting about 10 to 15 citywide. This is in addition to the work that Public Service is doing. So please reach out to me. I would say no later than tomorrow, end of business day. If there's a particular alley in the community that you would like for us to consider as part of that targeted cleanup this summer. Just endpoints would be fine. Just tell me, like, this alley from this street to this street is helpful. And then the Area Commission Spring Networking Session unfortunately has been canceled. However, the growth and density panel discussion is still set for June 22nd at 10 a.m. at the Reed Avenue Center Gym. If you have not already received communication from David Hooley to RSVP, you should be very soon. Although I'm sure he's not with sense.
Yeah, I got something. Did you all get something regarding that? He sent it out to all commissioners, so check your emails again. Not I'll forward it, but I have.
And then the Rise Up Block Party, this is a bit different. It's a bit scaled down from the larger Rise Up event that took place at Hiltonia Park. There's gonna be a block party that's set for July 11th. It's gonna be at Ponce Park. And this is a good time since there's gonna be a kickoff for future improvements to that park. So an opportunity to highlight the new amenities that will be coming to that area. So once again, that's set for July 11th, and that'll be from 5 to 7 p.m. And then finally, the Area Commission Zone In discussion is set for tomorrow at 6 p.m. at the Near East Pride Center. So due to space constraints, we have limited this to 2 representatives per commission. So that invitation actually went out to chair and vice chair. But if for whatever reason, one of you cannot attend, please extend that invitation to another commission.
Yeah.
Would love to see more representation from the West Side Commission.
I know, yeah.
And that's all I have for you.
So you got?
I got any
Okay.
questions for me?
No, sorry. Any questions? No, thank you.
So much.
The next up, we have a representative from the Department of Neighborhoods. Reverend Orr is speaking as a co-chair for Envision Hilltop.
Hi, everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Reverend Dr. Kevin Orr. I'm the pastor at Glenwood United Methodist Church. I serve as the vice chair of the Envision Hilltop advisory team. And on behalf of Nick, I have just one thing to share. Our next advisory committee meeting is coming next Thursday, the 13th of June, from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the Mid-Ohio Farm, which is located there on Broad and is it Whitethorn? No, Wheatland.
Mhm.
Wheatland and Broad. And everybody in the community is welcome to attend this meeting. It's not closed. However, Nick Plout would like to know if you're interested in going, to contact him directly. I think just so he has a sense of what the count is going to be. So again, that's Thursday coming up, June 13th, 5:30 to 7:30. And you can also find out more information about Envision Hilltop Community Plan if you go to envisionhilltop.com. Envisionhilltop.com. It's a great resource. That's all I have.
Thank you. Moving right along, I guess I should use this. Okay. Testing, there we go. Moving right along. Next up is announcements. Do we have any announcements from commissioners? Not anything on the Hilltop? Yes,
I
ma'am?
have kind of an announcement, but it's not an event.
Okay.
It's just something from the city council agenda that I noticed. I can yell.
Oh, you got that? Okay.
So I noticed that there is funding that was allocated for a shared use path on the north side of Sullivan from Georgesville to Wilson. And additionally, a sidewalk on the south side of Sullivan from Georgesville to Holly Hill. So that I think was on first read. It may have been on the consent agenda, so that should be approved. And I'm not sure when the construction is going to start, but we're gonna get a shared use path. on all that, so
Okay.
sounds great.
Yeah. Can you, for those that don't know what that means, can you?
Yeah, shared use path is basically a wider path that's meant for bicycles and scooters and pedestrians. It kind of eliminates the need to have protection because it's off the road, separated from traffic. It will still, pass across driveways for businesses and such. So you still have to watch out for traffic, but, yeah, it's basically a wide sidewalk.
That was good. Joe first.
Question about her.
Okay, let me let Joe go and then we can ask that question.
Get that.
Okay, related to that, and many of you have potentially seen this already, the Bike Plus Draft Vision Network has been released. Thanks to everybody who did go and participate and provide community feedback over the last many months. There will be a in-person feedback session on 614 June 14th from 4 to 8 p.m. At the corner of State Street and McDowell in the Franklinton neighborhood. And if you just search Columbus Bike Plus Plan Draft, you'll be able to find the interactive map where you can drill into your specific street and neighborhood and provide comment that way as well.
Malik?
So I was just curious if that development that was shared, of the shared path, is that a result of the capital? Our collective recommendation for capital improvements, or was that just a random doing?
There were $2 million total for 4 different bike projects. 4 different shared use paths, kind of in various areas of the city, and I'm not sure where the funding came from, so I'm not sure.
$4 million bike paths, I'll build them for 100,000.
It's a lot of sidewalk, long.
So did anyone else have a announcement? Yes, Commissioner Jenkins.
This Saturday, from 9 to noon is the Westgate Lodge Community Breakfast they do every month. It's $7 for adults, $4 for children. The proceeds go to Special Olympics. And it's a great deal. So, and it's a wonderful opportunity to mingle with your fellow Hilltoppers. So, that's it.
Where's it located?
Oh, at the Westgate Lodge on West Broad Street, directly across the street from Hogue Memorial Church.
Astrid?
I just want to highlight, after you go to the lodge, hopefully you will join us at the summit, this Saturday at Glenwood United Methodist Church. Hopefully everyone is aware of the location change. We've been trying to get the word out about that. There are some copies of the Hilltop USA newsletter over there that does feature the summit. If we run out of copies, there are some more by the door. And I believe we had some additional flyers printed, but please note the location change. It's now at Glenwood United Methodist Church instead of British Road.
Great. Was there anyone else on the commission that has an announcement? I have one. I was contacted not a couple hours ago from one of the leaders of the Driven Foundation. Are you guys familiar with that? That was founded by Roy Hall and Antonio Smith, the ex-used to play for Ohio State. And they're having a summer program, and it's going to be at Reeb Avenue Center on Reeb Avenue. That's in South Columbus. And it's going to be 4 weeks. And it's a $50 deposit, but the parents, as long as the kids come, they get it back. So it's a free opportunity. They'll be meeting football players. They'll be doing some, team building and a bunch of different things that the Driven Foundation does so well. They do a lot of things throughout the city. And I'm gonna have the opportunity to teach them, those middle school boys, it's for middle school boys, some yoga, so I'm excited about that. And so again, it's 4 weeks, it's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, except on the week of Juneteenth, it's gonna be Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And they have to have their own transportation. But I have the contact information if anybody wants it, regarding who to contact, so if you just wanna know, but I also say it here, because we do have folks that are on live, so you can call 504 982-2726. That's Jocelyn, and talk with her. They don't have to be on the south side. They're from all over the city. So west side is included. So if you know some young men who are going to middle school, right? They are eligible to go, and it's a free program ultimately. So feel free to share that information. Is there any presentations from the audience? I'm not presentations, any announcements? Yeah, you could have.
I do have one quick announcement. We're just filling up your Saturday evening, also at Glenwood United Methodist Church. We're gonna be having a concert. It's Bill Cohen, who is a pretty well-known folk singer here in the community, and a couple of his friends are gonna be doing a benefit concert to help support our Sunday morning community breakfast that we offer for free and for folks in the community. So it's Saturday evening, 7 p.m. At the same location as the summit, same space. And it's a $5 recommended donation at the door. So I'd love for you all to come out and hear some great music. Thanks.
To the church.
Any other announcements? We're gonna keep it going. Anything else from thank you. I know, thank you. All of these people are trying to give them the mic.
Thank you. Hey, everybody, Mike Alcock, I'm the community support leader here at the Hilltop Branch Library. I'll keep it really short and sweet. It's summer, so the library started our summer reading challenge. It kicked off on Saturday. It runs through July 31st. It's open to all ages. Read for 15 minutes for 25 days during the summer, combat that summer slide for the kiddos, and then get prizes for reading. But it is open to all ages, so you should all sign up as well. Additionally, as part of our summer programming, and I have flyers for this for all the locations participating, but we're doing our summer meals program again, courtesy of Children's Hunger Alliance. We are doing both a breakfast and a lunch at the Hilltop Branch this year. So all the info is on the flyer, ages 1 through 18. And then if you haven't heard, because I don't think we've really promoted it much yet, and that's probably good because I think we'll get a lot of business once we do. We are offering a free basic notary service here now at the library. So there are 5 pilot locations. You can visit columbuslibrary.org/notary-service. And I'd be happy to send that full BC to you, and I can send it to you guys as well. Free and basic. So there's some things we do and some things we don't do.
Can you talk about some of the things you don't notarize? Some of the documents.
Financial documents, some more complex legal documents,
Okay.
Power of attorney, we don't do that.
Okay.
There's a list that will be on that site shortly, but it's appointment based. Each branch that's participating has a couple certified public notaries. It's just based on staffing. Yeah.
Thank you. Anything else from our audience? Any other announcements? Okay, there's one more.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cynthia Harold. I am the owner of Natural Talent. We're located at 2354 West Broad Street. We are a dance studio for all ages. We're going to have a summer camp, because everyone's talking about summer camp. I have partnered with 2 nonprofits. We're going to bring a summer camp to Natural Talent. It starts June 10th. It's for ages 14 and up, where they will be actually earning certifications in CPR. So about time the summer is ended, they will be CPR certified. So I just wanted to share that. I'll make sure I get some flyers and stuff here for you everyone.
How long is the camp? Is it a week or a day?
8 weeks.
8 weeks, and it starts June 10th. Okay.
June 10th through August 16th.
Is there a cost?
It is free for those who qualify for low income. Other than that, there is a fee.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else? No? We'll start with our presentations. So first up, I will call Hilltop Arts Collective. Lexi, tell them who you are when you get up here.
Can I steal the presentation space? Is that possible?
No,
Available, no?
it's not.
Okay, that's fine.
Did you bring the anything else to show?
I had it on my computer, so I can pull it up.
So Josh said you could email it.
I can email mail it?
That'd be your best bet.
Can we do my presentation next?
Yeah, we are. That's what I was going to do. I was only because we're keeping it rolling, right? Uh, so, I guess first up is Miss Martin. Yeah, she's with NAMI. And she's going to share some information with us.
Good evening.
Is it on?
Good evening, commissioners. Can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Rochelle Martin, and I'm the Executive Director of the National Alliance on Mental Illness of Franklin County. And I'm asked to come to share the fact that we are a service that is provided to our community. First of all, I want to give you our mission statement. We are dedicated to improving the lives of people living with a mental illness and their families through a number of ways. We do it through education, advocacy, support, outreach, and I may be missing one more, but I can't even think of that right now. But we provide services for all of our community. We provide support groups for families who have a loved one with a mental health condition. We provide support groups to people who are living with a mental illness. We provide family-to-family classes. Those classes are designed for families who have a loved one with a mental illness. We provide classes for people who are living with a mental illness and they need to have an understanding about their mental illness. We have a mentorship program where we connect families. We have mentors that work with families who have a loved one with a mental illness and they need some guidance and some support. And we do that for 6 months. We have people who are living with a mental illness that are mentors that can help people who are living with a mental illness. We provide educational seminars to our community on a number of things, like we have attorneys that we work with that will provide some legal information to help loved ones who are living with their families. We have classes for kids, for parents who have a young child with a mental illness and need the support services. We also are in schools and we are now certified by the Department of Education to provide mental health classes for kids in the classroom. Those classes are called Ending the Silence, where we have someone, a young adult who is living with a mental health condition, and they talk to the kids about stress, depression, anxiety, and those kinds of issues. We also provide mental health first aid trainings that are on Zoom, that are no cost to people. They are 8-hour classes and they will be certified for 3 years after taking those classes. And we have a program called Faith Link where we connect people who are in places of worship. We have a therapist that is assigned to the church, and those therapy services are provided to the person free of charge, with no charge at all. Everything that NAMI does is at no cost. I have brought flyers. Please feel free to take the flyers. And if there are any questions, I will take the questions.
Any questions from commissioners? First, no. There's a question in the audience. Hi,
I have a question about Faith Link. Does that also include other religions like, Islam or?
Absolutely. Absolutely. All faith workplaces of worship.
And what would be the best way for someone to get connected or referred? Like, would it be through their spiritual leader, or would it be contacting NAMI directly? Like, what's the best way to get connected?
Call NAMI directly. So, may I give you our phone number? Our phone number is 614-501-6264. Our website is www.NAMIFranklinCounty.org. And please feel free to contact us at any time, because as you well know, there are people out here who are suffering every single day, and they need care.
Is the website you mentioned different than the one on here?
I'm sorry.
The website you mentioned is different than the one on here. This is NAMIFranklinCounty.org. I thought you said FC instead.
Oh, it says NAMI Franklin.
County.org.
That's the right one.
What's your name again? I'm sorry.
Rochelle Martin.
And there's flyers on the table.
Flyers are on the table for everyone to take. Thank you so much for
Thank
having me.
you. Thank you. Ready? Okay. All right. Is this on? Turn it on at the top.
I'm talking on the top of it.
I see it on, that's it. It's on?
1, 2, 3. Hey, there we go. Hello, my name is Lexi Holiday, and I have come before the Greater Hilltop Area Commission as the public chair and vice chair of the nonprofit Hilltop Arts Collective. Many of you may be aware of the work we have accomplished within the community, from the public art we have commissioned. Next slide. From public art we have commissioned to the community events we have led, including Creative Connections, the Artist Workshops, and Artsway, the yearly high school summer mural program. Next slide. Or perhaps you've come to our yearly festival, Summer Jam West, which is this year on July 13th at Westgate Park. Next slide. I am here because I am currently in the process of working on my biggest project for the Hilltop Arts Collective yet. In partnership with Hilltop Rise, we are working on having the railway overpass on US 40 Broad Street be painted on both sides. Next slide. Broad Street. One to be an artistic mural and one to be signage welcoming Columbus residents, young and old, to the Hilltop. The new Hilltop signage will be designed by Dane Kai. Next slide. Who is also doing the illustration side. The signage will have 3 variations that are shared with the community for feedback and input. I have also worked with Jenny Kepler, our local Hilltop historian, for references for design to use when designing the signage to connect the final design to Hilltop's vast history. Next slide. So far, we have the Pensley Railroad Company on board. The artist is currently working on flushing out his full budget for equipment, assistance, and designs. I have contacted the city for permitting and construction consulting permitting and a construction consulting company for the road closure process. And I have reached out to the community stakeholders for input on and support, including Lookout Supply, Hilltop Rise, Jenny Kepler, and the Columbus Neighborhood Design Center. I am here. Oh, next slide. Yeah, there you go. I am here because I am currently in the process of applying for the 614 Beautiful Grant, which will complete the funding for the HAC to execute this project to the level of grandeur that I believe the Hilltop deserves. I am asking for a letter of support from the Greater Hilltop Area Commission to help bolster the potential of receiving the full funding from the 614 Beautiful Grant. Thank you so much for your valuable time. Any questions?
Is there any questions from commissioners regarding
Oh,
the
I
art?
have one question.
Yeah.
Is it gonna say welcome to the Hilltop or welcome to Hilltop USA?
That has not been decided yet. So that is why I want multiple designs, and that's why I'm pulling research, is because I want feedback from the community of what they're feeling is more aligned to what we are currently. For many years, as I was talking to Jenny, it was Hilltop USA, because you could write Hilltop USA and it would come here. For like
You can send mail
and
to
stuff like that.
anybody.
So that is
The legend.
it's
That is the
it's the history. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's what it'll be. Cause like it could just be something like welcome to the hilltop. I'm also, like, I'm talking to Dane, I'm wanting him to dig a little bit deeper too, cause it could be something like also that's just hilltop. Like there's this piece Jenny shared with me that it's a privilege to be in the hilltop. So it could be a phrase that people are entering. So I like, there hasn't been an exact verbiage decided yet, for sure.
Yeah, there's
Ashley?
what,
Can you share the artist's name again?
Dane Kai, that's DaneKhy.
And then.
and Holly has the next question.
Is there any questions?
No. So I don't know, so we're gonna have questions from the commissioners first, and then we'll go to the audience.
Okay.
And I think, that Haunted, and then, Nick had their hands up on Haunted was first. Were you done, Ashley?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I was just gonna ask, is that person from the Hilltop?
He is not. He is a Columbus resident though, for sure. He is currently working in partnership with the people, other people will be helping. This is a massive project. And with the road closures, we're currently talking about having multiple artists come on board to actually complete the project, including Luca Weinberger, who is local to the Hilltop. He lives 4 blocks from here, as well as Justin from Lookout Supply, who owns that property right off of Wilson. And right off of Broad and Wilson, that area as well. So the many artists will be involved in the process for sure.
What is the estimated time frame that you'd have to have different parts of the street closed for the project to be done?
So talking to Dane, we are thinking best case scenario would be potentially a 2-week process, worst case scenario is a month. As I said, I am in contact with a company called the Peterson Company, which is a work zone safety construction and consulting company. And we've already got lane closure process plan documentation started, so yeah. Yes, Dave.
Is it just the overpass or is it the overpass in the side?
It is just the overpass, but it's the overpass on both sides.
Got
So yes, not the underneath side.
Okay. Any other questions from commissioners?
Mine's a comment. We've supported other projects for 614 Hilltop Art Collective through the 614 Beautiful Grant. So I believe the most recent one was on West Broad, if I'm not mistaken.
There's Ava's.
Ava.
Tell your story
Yeah.
mural,
Yeah.
yes, that was last year's.
Are there any other questions? Yes, okay, so we're gonna take 2 more questions here.
Okay.
From commissioners, and then we're gonna go to the audience. I'm keeping us on track.
Yeah.
And Haunted went first. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
What's the process to finding like an artist that's in the Hilltop? Did you guys, is that your first attempt before you extend it to?
So, this process for this year has been a little strange. Dane's initial contact, because he was supposed to have a mural last year, and that project fell through. And so he was our point of contact for that, and we've been working through it with him, so and because of the evolution of this, we have funding already for him from another grant to get a mural into the Hilltop, and that's where that started. And so this 614 Beautiful grant, if I get it, this will allow for the Hilltop signage actually. We have enough to do one side of the railway already. And so it's just, we need the 614 to do both sides, and that's what we're trying to tackle. And so normally we would, there's a process, yes, of doing outreach and like from either 614 or having a Hilltop artist. Sorry, am I answering this question? Why we picked Dane or why, or?
No. I'm just trying to understand, do you first look for someone that lives in the Hilltop first?
Yes.
And then you extend it outside, you can find it?
It changes
What is
each
that
year. We, like last year with Reagan, we were looking for someone who had not done a large scale mural, but was well known within Columbus, but she wasn't necessarily tied to the Hilltop. and I am the public chair just this year, so I'm not sure I can give the details, but yeah, it's. There's a lot of factors that go into play about the space, what we're intending, like what we're trying to do with a particular grant and project, but yes, that we usually do consider.
So I'm gonna add here,
Yeah.
because I was on the board for 3 years, Hilltop Arts Collective. And so the process typically is you put out a proposal, right? And it goes to everyone. We target, or I used to target, be a part of that. Artists that are experienced in doing murals, because they're large scale murals. There's a different type of tools that are needed to do that type of work. And GHAC, I'll just say GHAC, we hate to say GHAC, but I'm gonna say that. That we target Hilltop, Franklinton, all those artists as well, with everyone else. Because it's difficult, and we also pay, the commission is we have really done really good work with paying high commissions, right? So we want expertise in that area and you know, history in doing that work. So yes, I would say yes, based on what I know from 3 years ago, that we do target Hilltop, West Side artists. Even if they're not experienced, we consider them. And so that is a yes for that answer. Okay.
Yeah. This year's a little strange, but yes, normally the discussion happens with starting with West Side and expanding out.
Yeah, no, so typically we do that, but there was some extenuating circumstances, I guess, this year, so you had to go a different route, but you still also considered anyone that submitted something that was from the West Side, correct? Okay.
I just had a question of, the selection process for the final design. Will you do what you've done with like the Summer Jam murals where people vote? Or
Yes.
will it be just,
For the signage one specifically.
oh, okay,
Yes.
it will be voted by the community.
That one, we absolutely want community input, just to help shape, are people sick and tired of Tucson USA? Or is it really that they're ready to, like, that they're excited for that? I want to hear a collective of neighborhood and what they're voicing opinion is.
Yeah, when do you estimate that voting will go live?
So I have asked Dane to have designs to me by the 28th, because that is when the submission for 614 Beautiful is, so I would assume that, my goal is to have those out by July.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think there was a question from the audience. I thought I saw a hand. Any questions regarding what's up for discussion now, the presentation? Perhaps not. Any other questions from commissioners? Anything that come to mind? Can you restate your ask?
My ask is a letter of support for this project, specifically in me working on applying for the 614 Beautiful Grant, but obviously for the whole project in its entirety. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a quick question. Do you have a draft letter that we can use?
I do not, but I can probably figure that out. I'll talk with Victoria and get that done.
So there's no other questions regarding the ask. I would like us to vote on that. Whether we'll submit that or not, and we can draft a letter if it's approved, and we can review it. Dan and I will review it, and, you know, we can submit it if it's approved, right? You wanna offer the?
I got one question before we go. I'm sorry, I should ask before. Are we saying Broad Street's gonna be closed for 2 weeks?
No, the whole street, it will be individual lane closures. That's part of what I'm figuring out. So yeah, it will be like one lane at a
Got
time
it.
and potentially one lane on both sides. I would not shut down all of them.
Totally do.
I don't think they will do that.
There's
They
like
wouldn't
no
let
good
you-
and they're like, oh my God. No. I have to shut you down.
All right, got it. We're good.
I don't think the city would allow us to do that anyway. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Is there, let's do boards.
Don't you have to do like first, second, you know?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we will.
okay.
We will.
Okay.
I mean, is there any other questions before we go forward? No? Okay, Dan, take it away.
So since there's no more discussion about this issue being presented, I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion to allow our chair Victoria to draft a letter of support for this specific project, to offer our support to its application to the 614 Beautiful project.
I second.
Got a second over here. so.
Thank you.
Yeah, all of those in favor of that, please, let's take a quick roll. vote.
You do want to?
Yeah.
Okay. Chairperson, H. Fry, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ashley, thank you. And Vice Chair Megan? how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay, and then I'll start over here on my left.
Yes.
Commissioner Moore, Commissioner Neal.
Yeah, yes.
Commissioner Dallas, Commissioner Lenning.
Yeah.
Commissioner Kepler.
Yeah.
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Commissioner Kepler.
So here's my thing. I am so torn. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say no. I know it's gonna pass. I'm gonna say no because I really wanted someone from the Hilltop to the selection and have been a person from the Hilltop, so.
Commissioner Maddox.
Stands.
Commissioner Smith.
Abstain, my wife serves on the board.
Okay. I will say yes, but I do share Commissioner Kepler's chairman. Commissioner.
Okay.
Thank you.
Helping with the notes, I'm gonna say yes.
And I'm a yes.
Thank you. So motion passes.
Did you vote this?
I did. Yeah. When do you need a letter?
Now, what do you need about?
Before the meeting.
That's what I thought. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, Lexi, I'll just say this, since there's a couple of concerns regarding, Hilltop artists, is there a way that, the Hilltop Arts Collective partner with the individuals that are really concerned, that about finding artists? Because what we need is, some more mechanisms to find more artists from the Hilltop. But again, they're massive projects. There's got to be experience and all that. But when there's collaboration, we often include Hilltop artists, correct?
Yes, so
Okay.
if you would like some clarification, like Dane is the lead on this. I am technically an artist. Luca Weinberger is an artist, and Justin from Lookout Supply, all are here on the Hilltop, and we'll all be working in different ways to get this project going and having that project executed. I know that you are specifically saying the selection process, and this was definitely a one-off of how we went into it, and I am very aware that that disappointment is something I will be very aware of for my next project, that is built and securing that it's out from the grant. It's I guess it's an excuse, but yes, I'm aware that I agree with you, that would be much more centered and better to lift it up with the artists.
Commissioner Keith? Neil?
Yes,
had his hand up.
checking to see if Joe Paul was on that list. He did the painting and murals inside West High School Gymnasium,
Yeah.
and he's a Hilltopper.
We will need a number of hands because priming this and getting out all of it up in a timely manner that makes sure the roads are closed for a minimal amount of time. So yes, can I get that name? I'm pretty sure I know.
We're gonna move on with the commission meeting and you can get it, after the commission meeting,
Yeah.
but, I will say that, folks that help, the Hilltop people that help, are often, compensated. So there's compensation there, okay? So it's not free labor or anything like that. They're compensated as well. Okay. Let's have, reports of officers. I have nothing.
This Vice Chair.
Vice Chair, okay. Secretary,
None at this time.
okay. Treasurer, oh, there you are.
Nice. Just have my report here.
Okay.
So we have about 4,300 left to spend. We're gonna figure that out at the finance committee, which is on Thursday. And then I just have one motion tonight. It's for the a motion to approve $25 for good space at the Hilltop Bean Dinner. And any questions on the report at all? Or? And we'll go over this more in detail.
Okay. So you're gonna offer a motion? Okay, go ahead.
Right, so motion to appropriate $25 for booth space at the Hilltop Game Dinner. Can I get a second?
Second.
And then are we gonna do a voice vote or a roll call?
Roll call.
Roll call.
Since it's money.
Okay, thank you, Ashley. All right, we will start here with Treasurer Smith.
Yes.
Okay, and I'll start again over on my left. Commissioner Warren.
Yes.
Commissioner Neal. Yes. Commissioner Dallas, Commissioner Lenning.
Yeah.
Commissioner Kepler,
Yes.
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Megan.
Yes.
Commissioner Base Fry.
Yes.
Commissioner Blair.
Yes.
Commissioner Maddox.
Yes.
Archer is a yes.
Yes.
Tanner,
Yes.
congratulations.
Motion passed. Yeah. Okay. So zoning. We have, co-chairpersons Nick Bates and Rachel Winning.
Raise your hand, so now, Mike, it's.
You got it?
We have 4 applications this evening. Hopefully, it will not take as long as it sounds like it will. Our committee meeting didn't take that long. We considered all 4 of them, so. I'm actually going to have Nick start, with the first presentation, which is for Denver's Road. For the reason that, Mr. Massey, who's the applicant here, was having a little bit of difficulty with the city, and I gave him some informal advice, and so I'm not gonna vote on the application, just to make it clear that there's no conflict of interest. So Nick's gonna come up as well.
Alrighty. So our first application is BZA 24049 for Mr. Massey. This application summarized will to allow him to have a wider garage, a larger garage than what the property is currently going for. During the zoning committee meeting, he had a handful of 2 neighbors, I believe it was, come in to testify and to share their support of this program. And support of this effort for him to expand his garage so that he can store more of his vehicles and things inside. Mr. Massey, would you like to come forward?
Evening, Chairperson Fry, Co-Chairperson Fagan, and Commissioners. Forgive me, I'm a little unfamiliar with this process, so if you'll bear with me, I'll work through it and work through it quickly. So I'm gonna stand up, speak up, and shut up. I wasn't prepared for this. What I am asking for is permission to build a larger garage at my residence. I have applied for an application with the zoning commission and submitted my BZA application for the current garage. You can see is a small, very small 1-car garage, and I have more than 1 car. To basically organize and support the Irish Hills community and my pride for my neighborhood. I'd like to build a garage consisting of 1,350 square feet. And that equates to a 45 wide by 30 or 45 long by 30-foot wide garage space. The property that I live on is 3/4 of an acre approximately. As you can see, the primary residence is in the center of the property. The garage is planned. Actually, that is an older site plan. It was modified so that the garage will now be rotated to fit within the zoning restrictions of the 25-foot setback from my property line. I do have papers that I made, and I was cautioned not to have more than 7 sheets, so I didn't make you a booklet. But if anyone is interested, I do have the zoning application, I have the current site plan, I have the elevation to basically, so to give an idea of what I'm trying to do. This isn't some monstrous project, it's just a basic garage. So I do have all that available as well. The reason for requesting a zoning for a garage of this size is, as I've learned, the city ordinance for Columbus restricts a maximum build for a garage at 720 square feet. Anything above that would require zoning approval. So that's pretty much in a nutshell why I'm here. And hearing, just on a side note, hearing all the other things that are going on within the community, this actually seems very small and minuscule to me, but it's really humbling to find out how, I don't want to say insignificant, but there's so many other great things going on. I kind of feel ashamed that this is all I'm here for, but this is all I'm here for. So.
Are there any questions from Commissioner? Go ahead. Do you want to answer any questions? No. Okay, you can do it.
Are there any questions from the commission? I will say that the commission or the zoning committee did vote to approve this at our zoning committee meeting.
Yeah, the only thing that I would add, from the committee meeting was, your neighbors were there, 2 of the neighbors were there, and they supported the request. Especially because I guess you have like a snow plow.
I have a problem. I purchased, I think it's only child center, I don't know, but I have a small tractor backhoe. That's a small Massey Ferguson backhoe, and I've always had a tendency to serve. I teach. When I was younger, I worked with the youth in my church and so forth, and that has kind of carried on. And so in the winter time, a lot of times when it snows and it's a heavy snow, I have elderly neighbors. I have not elderly neighbors, but I'll get out and I'll use the tractor to actually push snow, and it kind of is, for lack of a better term, and forgive the pun, a snowball effect, because I'll usually be out and I'll be helping one neighbor, and then another neighbor will say, "Hey, can you come over here?" And then another neighbor, "Hey, can you go over there?" And so it kind of happens like that. And I have a different equipment that I use for myself. I burn wood in the winter. So I have a chipper and so forth and so on, and a neighbor will say, "Hey, I've got a bush that I'm trying to get rid of. Can you take it to the dump, or can you chip it up for me?" So I'm just all over the community. So that's why it was really nice that a couple of them, and more of them actually wanted to come. A few were unavailable due to sickness. And then I was advised not to bring a whole horde of people in. So, two of them did come, and that was what they were explaining, that I just try to I'm all over the community trying to help out my neighbors and so forth. I get to play with the toys.
Sure.
So how many pieces, or how many, I don't even know how to say this, honestly. How many cars, how many tractors, how many, chippers, how many could fit in there? Because I'm not.
In that space?
Yeah. How many you think?
That is a very good question, because I honestly do not know what that space looks like. However, the original space I wanted was 40 by 40. And based on that size, that's 1,600 square feet. My home is 1,450 some square feet, and I was advised that it probably was not a good idea I could ask for that, but it probably would not be viewed as favorable to have an external structure that is larger than the main living quarters, which I understand. So I went with 1,350 square feet. It's to just kind of to put everything in a central location. As you can see, there's a temporary garage there, there's a shed there, and then my garage. This one building would actually be able to house my lawnmowers and things of that nature as well.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'd like to make a motion to approve, lost the number, where did it go? The zoning application BZA 24-049.
Second.
Go a second.
I'll second it.
You're good, you're good. Okay, and I will start the roll with our two co-chairs, starting with Mr. Bates.
Yes.
Commissioner Wynn.
I'm abstaining.
Okay, oh, I think you said it earlier, and then Ashley will start here with you, we'll go the other way.
Yes.
Commissioner Montana, Commissioner Ardoza, yes?
Yes.
Yes. Maddox, Giflea, Commissioner
Yes.
McBride, Mr. Fagan,
Yes.
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Commissioner Kepler.
Yes.
Commissioner Gauss.
Yes.
Commissioner Neal, Commissioner.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, chairpersons and commissioners. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll have your recommendation form emailed to the planner. Yeah, thank you. Remember what I have? 1834 Sullivan Avenue, Christina Sabota. This is the, this is V 23-071. It is for the new Columbus Police Department substation, which will be at 1834 Sullivan Avenue. Is that the proper address or is it
1860 is the certified.
1860 is what the address is going to be. This is a rezoning from rural, AR1 to CPD, which means that, all of what you see on the plan is what's going to be built, what's agreed to be built. And there's two variances that will be included. Variance for the front parking setback from 25 feet to 15 feet. And to modify a screening requirement between the front public portion of the substation and the adjoining residence just to the west. So you'll see on the site plan, typically there would have to be screening between the entire kind of barrier there, but because it's someone's front yard, and then kind of a public open yard area in front of the substation as well, it kind of probably will look better to not have a barrier between the two. So that's the second request. At committee, we voted 5 in favor, none against. But I had a note along with my yes vote, which is that I wanted a drinking fountain in the front of the substation that would be accessible all the time, instead of just inside. So I'll let you take from there, Christina.
Good, thank you. You can go to the next slide. Okay, so we're gonna start with the site plan for the project. Thank you, Rachel, for the introduction. I'm Christina. I'm an architect with BBCO Design.
I'm Mike Jones. I'll this.
And yeah, like Rachel said, we're here to present a new 2-story, 13,500 square foot police substation. So this is a general overview of the site plan. The building has a couple primary functions. First and foremost, it will house the office and support spaces for the Columbus Police Department, namely the detectives, Precinct 19, and the community response team. Another major portion of this building is to provide some support spaces for the community. We're going to have a large lobby and lecture hall
a really major design intent of this facility was to create a welcoming, open and inviting space for both police and community members alike. So you'll see on the site plan, there are 2 access points into the site. The one on the left is for cruiser and police vehicles that takes them to the parking lot behind the facility. And then the curb cut on the east side is for public parking. There are 27 spaces there. So you would park and then walk into a large public plaza. So that plaza extends to the south, to Sullivan Avenue and connects to the existing sidewalk. And our vision here is to create something really beautiful, open, well-lit and inviting for the community. There's gonna be lots of natural plantings, benches, lit bollards, some signage, things like that. And per Rachel's request, a drinking fountain will be added to the public plaza. We'll have to put a little plaque on there maybe that says like Rachel Wenning. We had some discussions about that after our last meeting, so we're gonna be adding one in there. But this public plaza is kind of the first impression that you get when you're driving by off of Sullivan Avenue. And that opens you right up into the first floor lobby. So if you go to the next plan, there'll be a rendering of the facility. Oh, sorry, go back one more. So this is a conceptual rendering of the south facade. So this will be what is open to Sullivan Avenue. You'll see the front doors there with some City of Columbus signage, and then that is the plaza extending towards Sullivan Avenue in the foreground there. There's some creative ways that we tried to implement vehicular barriers. We want to be really cognizant that this might look like it's a driveway, but we really want it to act certainly not as such. So there's a line of bollards in the front, some planters that also can double as benches, and then a couple layers of benches as you get closer to the building. So the primary materials of the building are metal panel. You can see a charcoal gray corrugated metal panel and a wood look panel on the interior, and then a limestone look ephes. Next slide, please. So this is a first floor plan. The front doors are on the lower portion of the page, so that'll open you up into the main lobby. And I'll show you a rendering of that next, but you basically enter into a double height space with a reception desk, a small kind of 2 to 3 person meeting room, and then to the right is the community lecture hall and training room. And the idea of this is that it would be open to larger 45 person community lectures or meeting rooms or some training events there. So if you go to the next slide, this is a conceptual rendering of the lobby area. So this is basically what you would see when you walk in the front doors. There's a receptionist in the back, some seating, and then the main design element in this lobby is showcasing some historic trusses that were salvaged and donated to the project. We're all really excited about this. This was something that has been stored for a very long time, and that we're going to be hanging from the new structural steel that's supporting the roof above. It was part of the Columbus Hospital for the Insane that burnt down, but was saved, and now we're repurposing it in this community center. So it'll be, they'll have to be stripped down and refurbished, and they're not going to be performing any structural significance certainly, but they're going to be hung from the existing structure. And you know, our hope is to provide some sort of infographic and talk about the history and the richness of these pieces.
Are you speaking of, excuse me for interrupting, but I just, those
No, that's
pieces
fine.
at the very top?
At the top,
Okay.
yep, the ornate
Uh-huh.
triangular
Okay.
pieces, yep. There's 8 of them in total. You can only really see 4 of them in this rendering, but they'll be kind of above you as you walk into that lobby. Okay, next slide, please. And this is the final rendering. This is a conceptual rendering of the community room. So this is that 45-person training room. This also doubles as an ICC 500 tornado storm shelter. So this is built to withstand a tornado and house all of the members of the building in this facility here. But day to day, this will be a training room for both the police and the community alike. You'll see a large projector screen on that far wall. And then something that we're interested in is those three panels on the wall on the left there. We'd love to get some local artists to do some artwork that's displayed in that room. So we'll have designated light fixtures in there for them. Our idea is to maybe have people, place, and home kind of be the three signifying pieces of art there, but we can work with whatever artists come about when the time comes. But that's kind of the idea there. And with that, I'm excited to hear you guys' feedback and questions and comments.
I think it's a great idea. I stayed at 425. Last meeting was designated 43223, 43204 was the highest areas as far as the picture. Now you have three houses on that same side. Two of them are notorious trap houses. Across the street, the apartment, huge trap house. I've been there 31 years. And you get different people owning it. But the problem right now is so intense. Yesterday, I counted 30 people moving in and out that same side. So I welcome certainly any help that we can get. But that's a problem that y'all gonna have to look at, because those three houses to the west, except for the last house, those two right there are notorious. You can go up there, everybody, you can go up there right now and see the traps and the tricks, prostitution heavy. And then the apartment across the street, the same thing. So certainly, the neighbors in the community and myself are more than welcome that. But my thing is, how can we building that, connect to the community? So we could eliminate these slumlords and prostitution as far as tenants from taking advantage of the community, and will that station be connected to the extent that it will give relief to those of us who are not newcomers to the hilltop. As far as growth, I hear people talk about growth, but we talk about those of us that have roots. We've had roots. I worked at the Ashburn Center for 38 years. So we have roots, and we want those of us who have been anchored in the hilltop to get relief first before all this growth talk. That's just real talk from where I sit at. So I'm just throwing that in there, but those are problems that I want you to check out.
Okay, before I let Christina say anything to that, we got a request, a variance or what they call a blanket variance request today for those exact properties. And I think a developer from Georgia is buying them. That's who's applying for the variance. They're seeking the variance for that property that runs left and right along the back. But it would mean that all of those lots are combined into one lot. And I think it's because somebody wants to buy it and maybe build an apartment building. Just FYI. But if you want to say anything, go ahead.
No, I mean, I think these are all really important things to consider, and certainly, hearing your input is extremely valuable. I think this is a first step of many important steps that need to be taken.
I assume there's a police station right now in Hilltop?
Yes.
What's gonna happen to that?
So can I interrupt so we can finish, the commissioners can answer their questions, and then we'll go to. Thank you.
Oh, I just wanted to say that I'm very excited about the beams from the old COPH. By the way, these are the beams from the psychiatric hospital that was at the top of the hill. And until the 90s, it was demolished. It didn't catch fire. The one that caught fire happened, well, like in 1890 something, so we couldn't have, salvaged those. These beams were once in the Hilltop Library, the previous incarnation, prior to this one, so. I'm really grateful that you're incorporating that into this design and so we can keep our artifacts here.
There's a couple other questions from commissioners. Okay. Yeah.
So you said there's 45, I guess, seating inside. How many parking spots were outside for public use?
For public use, there's 27. Something that we really took into consideration was different methods of transportation coming to the site. Certainly, vehicular traffic is one of them, but we also really want to encourage pedestrian traffic with the plaza extending towards Sullivan and bike traffic. There is a couple bike racks and then a bike repair station in that public plaza as well.
Thank you.
Hey, I have a silly question possibly. As I look at the space, it looks inviting and we are a public entity that uses public spaces. Would the front door of the police station be locked? Because we can't meet our open meeting law requirement if we're in a building that has a locked front door. So I'm just trying to think ahead and see if you've designed it where the police would still be okay with it, but
Right.
it'd be open to the public.
That's more of an operational question.
Yeah, so it will be open during the business hours, so early morning, maybe 7 AM to about 5, 6 PM. But we'll be there's something that we can definitely work with, perfect.
I know the Far East Commission uses the police substation for their meetings, and I think they just have it open.
Yeah.
Yeah. Might be doable. Ashley?
I really like the design. Are there any other police stations, other places that we could see as an example?
This design is pretty unique for this location on this site in this community. But there's certainly other police stations that have, like was mentioned, community rooms and precincts. And would sort of act in the same way, but they would look very different. This is unique to this specific site.
Then I guess I follow up, do you see like any additional police substations looking like this in the future?
That's a good question.
So usually the city, we kind of, when we choose an architect, kind of allow them to create their own design. We don't have a template for police subs to open functions that are in the space, but beyond that, we allow the architects to explore their own, put their touch to it, so. Yeah.
That's great, thanks. Anybody else? Questions?
Can we just go back to the site plan? Thanks.
We did go through kind of a couple of different iterations of the site plan. There was hope that traffic could come off of Townsend. I'm actually not sure if Townsend is it might be a different street. Maybe
I think it's a different street.
Is it Lechner?
I think it's called Townsend.
I know Lechner also runs into it. But anyway, we were hoping that traffic for this station might be able to come off of that road. Rather than having two separate entrances onto Sullivan. We were hoping to have, traffic not have to cut into traffic on Sullivan. But this was really the only way that it could work because, as you probably know, this was state land before the city purchased it. And as part of the purchase agreement, the state said you can't use that road. So the only option was to have traffic go from Sullivan onto Sullivan.
It's the light. Looks like there's a light at Townsend and Sullivan and a bus stop both east and westbound. But that was my next question was what's the traffic like over at Columbian? And it's one of those offset intersections with no light. So this, is that the property that's back there is the one where the screening?
A lark.
Yep. Right on the.
Oh, large in terms of. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically it's all of that grass in the front and going over to where that first house is. No, the house. all the way down on the road. It's right there. Yeah. And there is kind of an asphalt drive in between this last house and the property that's gonna be developed. It's not a private drive. It's a public drive.
Yeah.
But if you look at some of the pictures, they routinely park a car in there. So people can't use it. There's not one there, but if you come around from the back, you'll see they park a car in there. So, yeah, there is going to be, you could talk about fencing maybe that's gonna be in between.
Yep, so around the cruiser and personal police vehicles towards the back of the site, there will be a fence going around that area. But towards the south of the site along Sullivan, we really wanted to keep sight lines open, certainly for safety and for kind of an open and welcoming environment. So there is a leg of the western end of the site between our property line and this house that we will be planting new trees and new grass and making that look really beautiful, but it won't meet the 100% opaque zoning requirement between residential and commercial districts.
Yeah, so that's one of the two variances, is to not have screening in between kind of that first little section. Any other questions from commissioners?
There's power lines currently running through the property. Are you guys planning to bury those as
Yeah.
part of this? Okay.
One other thing that we discussed during committee meetings, were electric vehicle parking spots. And I think you added, we're gonna have two, and then there's room to grow.
There's an alternate for 2 EV charging stations in the public parking lot.
Do you know what company those are gonna be through?
Not yet.
Probably either through Charge Point or, second, I can't think of anything right now, but. Yeah, it's probably one or two that we usually typically use.
There's also going to be one spot designated, you can see it right next to the second handicap spot. That's gonna be for kind of like exchange when you do online purchases. So.
Yeah, internet exchange. There will be, that's the most well lit and has a video camera right above it. So that'll be like a really safe spot for any sort of internet exchange of goods. Parking spot right there. It'll have a designated sign, just like the handicap spots will.
For the old mature tree that's in like this top corner by Townsend, are you gonna keep that?
Yes.
Okay.
And the detention basin in the back, I think that just because of the topography.
Correct. Yep, so the site is sloping ever so slightly to the north. So this takes the drainage from the parking lots and from the building. Right now, when you look at it in a site plan, it looks like a big pond, but in reality, it's just going to be a slight depression that when it rains, it'll fill up slowly, sink back down, and it'll just look like a slight depression in the grass.
Is that planned to have wildflowers in it, or is it just gonna be grass?
We have an alternate one for just grass, and then just in terms of cost savings, we're adding it in there as an alternate for some non-mowable native planting.
Willie, did you have a question?
I mean, I was thinking, the difference between detention and retention is a detention pond will go dry sometimes. Is that what it is? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Retention retains.
And any community questions?
Where's your site? Did you pick it on an area?
Oh, you have the.
I thought this would be, I don't know how they, I guess, Aaron. I thought this one, you had a very valid point. And then when you chose this location, you could pick an area of high crime, because obviously you put a cop there, so they change things a little bit. Is that part?
We just want to make sure that people
Oh,
on
sorry.
live hears you. Yeah, so.
When you chose the location for this new police station, was the area of crime a factor, or how'd that come about?
So it was, purchased probably 2 years ago. I'm not entirely sure how it was obtained. I'm assuming that the space that was there, and we took advantage of that space there.
And the current substation on Sullivan, do you have any idea what the plan is for that once everything's moved to this one?
Pretty sure it will stay within the city of Columbus. I'm not too sure what we're thinking to do there, return to office space for safety, or is this going to be remain vacant for now, but as right now, there's no plans for it, but I'm sure it will stay within the city.
Since the drive has been changed for employees and public parking, because I guess you had to change it, how's that gonna affect this new zone in and link us? Because isn't Sullivan Avenue gonna become a major corridor?
Yeah, Broad Street is gonna be the corridor that link us. But as far as zone in, this whole strip on Sullivan, also is going to be rezoned. But since this is a city-owned property, it's not really gonna affect anything, I guess. That's how I would put it. The CPD, means that what's in this plan that's being shown is what's going to be built. And so the change to zoning isn't gonna affect what they're building here. If that makes sense.
It's not gonna affect the traffic flow, some of the new driveways.
Oh, no, I'm sure it'll affect traffic somewhat, and we did discuss that during our committee meetings. Ideally, we wanted the traffic to not come on to Sullivan. But this is really the only option for this site. You can add to that.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly right. We explored a myriad of different access into the site, which you saw, and certainly we were excited to pursue that entrance off of Townsend and keep it off of Sullivan, but just as the way the site's situated and with the state of Ohio being unwilling to grant an access easement, the drive to access for vehicles, is only allowable off of Sullivan. So splitting up the two, we feel is safer for everybody. Have cruisers connecting with, public vehicles in case of an emergency. They're completely separated. So we're hoping that will mitigate some of the danger there.
Something we also talked about is that, most of, police calls are gonna be going to cruisers that are already out on patrol. So it shouldn't be too often that there's a cruiser flying out of here in an emergency. Usually it's people picking up their cars and dropping off their.
Yeah, but there's 3 shifts that happen this week, Dr. J, I know it's 4 hours, so only during a shift change where you see most of the truck traffic for police coming in and out of a lot.
Yeah, and I think Coach Neal was noting that the way it is now, you can't even see a car come out of that driveway, really, so, and there's often traffic just stopped right in front of it, so this will definitely be an improvement to that. Any other questions from the community? Okay, I will make a motion then to approve this rezoning from AR1 to CPD with the 2 variances for the parking setback in the front and the screening on the west side.
Second. All right, great. Thank you very much for the discussion. We'll start with the zoning co-chair.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Bates, we'll start here with Commissioner Montana.
Yes.
Commissioner Rogers, yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Maddox.
Yeah.
Yes.
Commissioner Bates Fry.
Yes.
Commissioner Fagan.
Yes.
Commissioner White.
Yes.
Commissioner Kepler,
Yes.
Commissioner Rivas, yes. Commissioner Neal.
Yes, yes.
Abstain.
Just abstain. Okay, thank you.
And I want to personally thank you for my water fountain. And we'll get the recommendation form to the city within a couple of days. If you have any other questions, just email me.
Okay, thank you guys for the time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
Next up.
The next application on the agenda is V 24-018, which is 740 North Wilson Road. Representative David Hodge. This is a request for rezoning from CPD to LM, which is limited manufacturing. And you may remember that this site came before us, how long ago? A year and a half ago, 2 years ago, because Sheets wanted to build a gas station on this site. Sheets then went through a lot of work trying to get it approved, and then they backed out and did not build a station here. So Mr. Hodge can explain how he kind of went through the process of finding a new company that would want to develop here. And the company is called Skyworks. I will say that at the committee meeting, we had 4 yeses with 1 caveat to the yes, which was from Commissioner Bates, that he wanted to see neighbor support. We had 1 more from Commissioner Dallas for the same reason, wanted to see neighbor input or support. I did email with Zach Litz. I don't see Zach here, but he said he would try to be here. He did share kind of all the information in the local Oaks group to kind of let people know that this application was going through. And I also had discussions with John Fleshman, he came to our committee meeting as well. I haven't talked to anyone, even though I had Zach share my email address. So I haven't gotten any feedback personally, but are there any other neighbors here from that neighborhood, Macklin Drive area? So given that, I'll let Mr. Hodge start with the presentation, and then we'll start with questions after that.
Okay, thank you. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay, great. My name is David Hodge. I'm a zoning and land use lawyer. Regularly work with various folks through the zoning process. For whatever reason, it's been quite a while since I've been to the Greater Hilltop Area Commission. I certainly remember Ms. Montana from many, many meetings years ago at the 5th by Northwest Area Commission, and several other familiar faces here. As Ms. Winning said, all of you are familiar with this property. This is the east side of Wilson Road, north of its intersection with Fisher. It was a kind of a long fight with Sheets on this property. I know that the Greater Hilltop Area Commission was in support of Sheets coming on the property, but city planning was adamantly against it. That turned into a long, drawn-out ordeal to ultimately get scheduled with Columbus City Council, and ultimately with the help of several Hilltop Area Commission members, City Council ultimately voted to approve that Sheets. Unfortunately, Sheets backed out, did not buy the property. We have 4 different property owners here who are really, at this point in time, stuck with a property zoned for a gas station, convenience store, and truck parking, and no way for anybody to develop the property with gas, convenience store, and truck parking. That existing zoning on it was to a CPD, Commercial Plan Development District. And with a CPD, I think one of the previous applications was also a CPD. You commit to the plan and you commit to the text, and that's the zone. After Sheets walked away, I've stayed somewhat active with the individual property owners here and worked very hard. I was actually thinking earlier, it was about a year ago that I was on the phone with many of the national gas convenience users, and I talked to everybody that's in this marketplace. Also relatively recently talked to two that are coming to the market. One of which is Racetrack that's came over, they flew somebody into town to look at the property, and ultimately nobody wants to do a gas station and convenience store here. The report I got back was that there were concerns from those users with crime in the neighborhood. I've heard some discussions about the proximity to the bus station in the neighborhood, but ultimately Sheets said that's why they walked away from the project. So with all that background, ultimately my relationship with some of these owners, the civil engineering firm that was involved with Sheets and is also involved in this. I heard that Skyworks, who's an existing business in the neighborhood, was interested in expanding. And we got connected. They are in contract to buy all of the properties and have submitted a rezoning application. Obviously, that's why I'm here. To change the zoning from the CPD, which is, you know, for lack of a better phrase, the Sheets CPD, to an LM, limited manufacturing district. All of the text of that LM is part of what I handed out to everybody. But probably more importantly than that, similar to a CPD, what the L, the limited, allows you to do is to commit to a site plan and commit to architecture. So the site plan that's in the packet, I think it's the last couple of pages of the packet I gave you, is exactly the site plan that that Skyworks is going to build. So that's here if you want to look at a close up in your packet. And what Skyworks is a equipment rental company. So they rent construction equipment to contractors. Most of the business is storage on site. They get orders for, say, a boom lift, and in the morning they'll put a boom lift on a truck and they'll take it out to Intel. At the end of the day, or when that job's done, the Skyworks trucks go out, they pick that boom lift up, they bring it back to the site. It's limited hours of operation. It's 7 a.m. The guys there start early to get the construction equipment out, and it closes at 4 p.m. Importantly, we did our very best to mimic the perimeter treatments of the approved Sheets plan. So as you can see here, green along the north, we have a stream up here at the northeast corner. So we're cutting the corner there and preserving that stream. And we have, excuse me, very generous setbacks back here along the back from the single family residential on over to the east, reserving this southern area for future development within the parameters of the LM district.
David, would you do me a favor and also show?
Sure. Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah. I'll just leave the spacing back here for now. The city has reviewed this proposal. I mentioned they were against the Sheets because the city's land use plan, really the greater Hilltop land use plan, calls for an employment center on this property. The city is therefore supportive of our use because this is an employment generator and supporter. The present Skyworks use has about 25 to 28 employees that are hoping to double that here at this location, ramping up to 45 or 50 employees here. So the city's supportive. They have asked us to conduct a traffic access study. When Sheets was here, they did a traffic impact study that showed that a traffic light was warranted up at the entryway up on the north side. That traffic light is not going to happen with Skyworks. They're just not that level of a traffic generator as a the reason we were asked to do the traffic access study is to analyze where our access points are going to be. We have them generally lined up with where the Sheets access point was because we think that's where it makes the most sense. It lines up with the intersection across the street. So that traffic access study is underway, and that would be the only change to the plan is if those access points changed around and if the building needed to shift a little southerly to accommodate adequate access for the maneuverability off of Wilson Road up into and through the site. So that's really it. Site's presently zoned CPD, asking to change the zoning to an LM. to accommodate Skyworks relocating in the neighborhood, their use, committing to the site plan, committing to the architecture that's in your package, creating another 20, 25 jobs here in the neighborhood. Was grateful for the support from your zoning committee. There was some thought of engagement with adjacent property owners. I said at that meeting that night, certainly willing to engage with adjacent property owners. That's what I do for a living. Reached out, did a little research on how to connect with somebody, didn't find anybody to connect with. It's my understanding, though I don't know this for sure, but it's my understanding that notice is sent out to surrounding property owners for this meeting. So any of those adjacent residential properties to the east would have had notice of the meeting. Sounds like Ms. Winning also talked to several local people, and you know, if they were gravely concerned about this use adjacent to them, they would most definitely be here tonight. And you know, I certainly think that a rational argument can be made that in terms of what this use is, with 7 to 4 business hours as opposed to a 24-hour gas station and convenience store with unlimited truck parking within the stalls provided adjacent to the single-family residential, this is a more desirable use than arguably than what the Sheets or any other convenience store would be here for this site. So I'll stop there and do my best to answer any questions that you have.
Yeah, the only thing I wanted to add on to that is that when I talked to Zach Witt, who we've had before in conjunction with the Greyhound application, or the Greyhound issues. Zach does not live technically within the 150 feet where he would get notice. But he is in the neighborhood, and he said he has been aware of the plans. When they came through, he saw them, and he thinks that he was kind of like hopeful, I guess, about the owner especially, which I think we kind of felt at the committee, and maybe I can have Dan speak to that as well. The owner was with you at the committee meeting, was very kind of expressed a lot of interest in the business being a good neighbor, which, you know, given the Greyhound station and what's going on with that, I think would be very important to everyone, especially the nearby property owners. And he just seemed very, very interested in having a good, responsible business like they currently run. They're on Fisher Road right now, right?
Correct.
And also contributing to the community in various ways. I thought that was a very nice presentation for them, I guess. Did you want to have anything to that?
No, I'm glad you mentioned the current business exists, how far from where this location would be, quarter mile, right? I mean, it's.
Right, there's somebody's got the map up here.
You have to check me on the mile.
Yeah,
But, you know, literally on the other side.
Yeah, just down Fisher Road from here.
I think it's the right range.
Yeah, there you go.
That's right.
Yeah,
It's south of the highway.
yeah, south of 70.
Yeah, it's the right range spot. Right there.
The questions.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
This isn't the same equipment rental that was on Sullivan, like in Franklinton, was it?
No,
Down there, remember there was one equipment.
In Sunbelt?
Oh, that was Sunbelt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sunbelt
yeah, this
was
is
there.
different, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's a proposed baseball stadium.
I think the Sunbelt was very handy if you want to.
Sun, sky, see where you got that. Sun, sky.
I asked, I don't know if I asked you or I asked the owner why it's called Skyworks, and I think it's because most of their equipment lifts people into the air or lifts equipment into the air, so makes sense. Any other questions from commissioners?
Yes, thank you for the details here. Just so that I understand what I'm seeing on the map and seeing on the site plan, the extra parking lot screening that I'm seeing. Let's see.
You may have the sheets for it.
Oh, okay, that's why then I was misunderstood. So the residences are on the south
The
side.
residences are on the east side.
On the east.
So the property to the south, I think there's a veterinary clinic here, and then there's some maybe houses here. This is all township property to the south, going down to Fisher Road.
Yeah.
There's also a stream down here that kind of meanders. So Yeah, so it's up here on the screen.
That's just what I was gonna check. All that grass is what is gonna separate any residences on the south side and then the basin and more screening from residents.
That's right. Our district has certain setback requirements from any residentially zoned or used property. There's some chance that there could be some additional development here within the parameters of that, but we are committing to preservation of some area south. And then really, we focused a lot of attention over here east, because that's individual single-family lots over there. Up to the north is a car wash and some other uses, but you know, we kind of clipped that corner there, preserving that stream, so we're well buffered from everything up to the north as well.
I think you said there's something like a 10-foot mound in the back.
Yeah, so might have to maybe put my glasses on. What we have is a 3-foot mound, so just an earthen mound, but on top of the mound, they're gonna stagger evergreen trees that are gonna be 6 to 7 feet at installation. So it'll be 10 feet in height at installation, and then those evergreens will shoot up. And then, in addition to that, the existing natural vegetation back on the east side of the mound will be preserved. And this is pretty heavily treed back in here now. As you can see there from the area.
And something else we discussed is that the kind of, I don't know if it's still operating as a junkyard, but that junkyard property is going to be demolished and developed with your project, correct?
That's correct. So that's the traditional hardwood floors business you see there in the middle. This is a more recent aerial photograph, which is good. That's a generous picture. You can see sort of where the cursor is there, a little to the right of that. There used to be a lot of junk cars that were stored here. They bled off of the property onto the adjacent property. That's one of the ways in which I've been recently involved in this. Is the owner of that property engaged me to help him with his zoning code enforcement issues. So I've been with him over to environmental court, working with the code enforcement officer. And of course, the city and code enforcement are thrilled that we have filed a rezoning application to, you know, remedy that existing nuisance and create some new investment in the neighborhood.
I didn't ask you this before, but do you have concern that there's fluids that have leaked into the ground there?
When you're coming in and spending this kind of money, there's always that kind of concern, and they have had environmental engineers out on the property to take soil borings and do all of that. Sheets also did us a kindness and provided us with some of their due diligence, so we have that information as well. So if there were environmental issues, this project would not go forward. We don't think that there are any though.
Any other questions, James?
But you guys, this is the property line as depicted on the map. You're planning on raising the whole entire property, whereas the sheets plan provided looks like a 3-acre natural wooded lot or preserve. On that side, you're gonna raise the whole entire thing from lot line to lot line, east to west. And then you're only gonna raise a section of the mound all along the back and not extend it all the way. I guess we can pull it back up. I could probably.
Let me walk over here if I could and not lose my microphone. So up here at the northeast corner, this entire area, there's a stream through there. So that corner gets totally maintained. Along the back, yes, this plan is different from what the Sheets plan is. Sheets plan showed that as being untouched, undisturbed back there. We are coming in and planning to do a detention basin there with the mound and the plantings, and yet still preserving trees in the area. So it's not like it's the.
I'm sorry, but this is the adjacent properties, correct? This right, because this is the edge of your property line of the whole parcels.
This is.
Yes.
Yes.
So where on here are you preserving the parcels behind you? Because the way I pull it up on the auditor's site, like this is the whole parcel from the street to the property line. So I'm just confused on where the preservation of trees are. If on what you presented, you've raised everything and then you're putting in a detention pond and only putting in the raised bed.
Well,
So it's not depicted, are you saying this,
No.
these are homes?
No, right, I am not, that's not what I'm saying at all. So we are, there will be, there will absolutely be back in this area where the basin is, some tree removal in order to dig that basin. You know, just like with the other project, the topography of this goes that direction. And so this is where the basin needs to be. This mound is about 10 feet off of that property line. So anything back in here, a 10-foot area would be preserved with the existing vegetation. Then the mound would go in, and then the trees would go on top of the mound. Now, if that's just our idea, right? If folks prefer that there be that area maintained in the natural vegetative state, that's something that we're happy to do. I mean, it'd be less expensive actually for us to do it that way as opposed to what being proposed here.
Mhm. Yeah, but this is great, because it is a map, so it's good.
Any other questions?
I guess to clarify, to do this site plan as presented, from day one, you're gonna go in and clear all of the wooded lots as they sit now, and then create a mowed green space adjacent to this giant parking lot. I just want to make sure I'm understanding how you're.
I wouldn't agree with the way you phrased that.
Okay.
There will be some tree removal, but it won't be totally mowed down in order to create that area. But yes, there will be some tree removal. And then, you know, this area back in here is no different spatially than what's shown on that sheets plan.
For the light green portion at the bottom,
Yeah.
what is going to happen to that? How many trees are gonna be removed from that area? You know,
So for the foreseeable future, that will remain in its natural state. But it comes into this, so all of this area will remain in its natural state for the foreseeable future. If another business wants to come in that is complementary to Skyworks, they're gonna own this property, then they would do another type of development there. It could be a retail strip, it could be a number of things, flex office uses.
does that answer your question?
I mean, as it's presented is how it's presented. Yes or no?
If there was, so if another business came in, wanted to build in that area, would you have to revise your LM site plan?
No. It depends on what, it would depend on what the use would be.
It's a different use.
If it's a different use, a use not within the LM family of uses as outlined in this text, then yes, someone would come back through a process. Otherwise, they would have to go to the city. If the city, you know, let's say it's a drive-through restaurant, for example, the city's gonna see that drive-through restaurant. They're gonna ask that drive-through user to do a traffic impact study, to do all of the analysis regarding the access locations, and all of that. But that is a use that could be allowed here.
Were there any concerns from the committee just about the fact that it's a 24-foot building fronting Wilson there versus what's directly across being, you know, more like one story?
No, I mean, just looking, we didn't discuss that, but I think just looking at the rendering of the building, and the setback with the parking lot in front of it, I guess it didn't seem unusual to me personally.
Yeah. So let me add a little bit of color around that. The base height district in the city of Columbus is a 35-foot height district. So this library that we're in, everything across the street, they have the right under existing zoning to go up 35 feet. And there's one other thing I'm going to add, and I know I'm probably talking too much, but this is important, and it's a nice.
Not sure where that's going.
It's kind of, I think, a nice attribute of this. and I overlooked it. As you come along Wilson Road, we have intentionally come in here and created a generous setback along the east side, and we're going in that setback, and we really overdid the landscaping intentionally. The city was kind of initially pushing us to move the building clear up to the edge, and as a compromise with them, we said, well, let's create a landscape strip and over landscape that, and that was satisfactory to the city.
Any questions from the community?
I don't know if that stream is Dry Run Creek. But I live across from Dry Run Creek in Holt Park. And we've had problems with different businesses that were on Valley View when there was that fire at this cold storage place. And the runoff from the asphalt went into Dry Run Creek. And that creek smelled like pig manure for weeks, and it contaminated the whole stream. We used to have white egrets. I mean, I would see them. We had turtles. I've not seen any. And so if you're putting a mound back there, what's going to happen on the back side? Everything's going to go from that mound down into that creek?
Let me.
So that's my question.
Sure.
About, and also if there's going to be continued development, that just means more runoff from asphalted areas, and there would be oil and gas and various things that can, again, contaminate this natural. I don't know if it's Dry Run Creek or not, but it probably is, but I'm just concerned because I live across from it and I've seen a lot of damage done to the creek and a lot of trash and refuse ever since Jordan's Crossing went in and the bike path has been used heavily there. There's been a lot of problems with our creek.
And I don't know if this is Dry Run. I don't know if we zoom in on the map, if it'll provide the name. So it's up in that northeastern corner of the property is what we're talking about. This is a close-up. This is a close-up of the site plan, and you can see that we have totally clipped the corner there, and it's going to be surrounded with a 6-foot fence so that nobody that's on this property gets back into that creek. So it's going to be totally buffered from what we're doing. So that's the first part of the answer. The second part of the answer is you wouldn't believe how many times I get this question. The city of Columbus, I'll go all the way back to the beginning. The city of Columbus, years and years ago, had combined storm and sanitary sewers. And so when we would have a heavy rain event, our sanitary sewers were overflowing into our storm sewers. And we for years and years and years and years were dumping raw sewage into both the Scioto and the Olentangy River. The federal government came into the city of Columbus and they said, what in the world are you doing? They put us under very, very strict guideline called the City of Columbus Stormwater Management Policy. So we are under a more strict set of regulations as it relates to stormwater than anybody. So what our design engineers have to do is design this to retain all of the stormwater, treat it for both quantity of stormwater and quality of stormwater before it goes back into the public system. So that will absolutely happen on this property.
Can you also briefly talk about the fuel situation? Because I think the owner said that they would be refueling the vehicles that they rent out, but not doing any public fueling.
Yeah, there's no public fueling here. They have an above ground fuel tank for the fueling of their private vehicles. I can't remember. That was the local operations guy that was with me. I think he might have said 10,000 gallons or 20,000 gallon above ground tank. As opposed to what was going to happen here previously when it was Sheets. And that's Sheets site plan, which shows truck parking there, diesel fuel there, gasoline there, as opposed to what was what can go there now, especially what we're doing.
Yeah, so I think that was, kind of put us a little bit at ease, because there isn't gonna be a lot of traffic coming and going in terms of, refueling or anything like that, and all of their customers are also commercial.
Spill that would happen.
It would at least be on a smaller scale.
I mean, there's a pilot travel center one block north of there
You have a question?
in the great.
It's nothing to do with this, but is Chris and Ray still building next door to that?
They are not.
Aren't they really? Okay.
So Crisco Ray,
Yeah, I'm curious.
yeah, they own the northern two properties here, right?
Between there.
Just south of the Anchor Car Wash on that.
Okay.
And they had planned to do a church there. Excuse me, I'm getting over terrible cold. They're selling some of the property, and then they'll use the proceeds of that to construct a church someplace else.
Any other questions from community? No. Okay, I will make a motion then.
Motion.
Motions to approve the rezoning from CPD to LM, given the plan that was circulated, and that we discussed.
Okay, and we'll start with our co-chair,
Yes.
Andy.
Yes.
Okay, this time I'll go back to my left and start with Commissioner Moore.
Yes.
Commissioner Neal.
Yes.
Dallas.
Yes.
Kepler, Commissioner White,
No.
Commissioner Fagan,
Yes.
Commissioner Bates Fry.
Yeah.
Commissioner Blair.
Yes.
Commissioner Maddox.
Yes.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
Let me guess, Commissioner Montana.
Yes.
Thank you all very much.
Yeah, thank you. I'll get you that form within a couple days.
Thank you.
And now our. Oh, yeah. go ahead.
Just a really quick procedure question. So if anybody didn't get to be here tonight, and the next steps will be that this will go in front of city council to be looked at, would people have an opportunity to go and publicly speak for or against this, right, procedure?
David, you'll have a BZA meeting, won't you?
And this will be Development Commission.
Okay, so there'll be a development commission meeting, and then there will be the city council meeting after that.
Okay.
And I do get notice of both of them, so if anybody wants to go to one of those, I can let them know time, date, place.
Perfect, thank you.
Next Thursday night for the Development Commission.
Next Thursday, thanks.
Don't forget to take the microphone off.
Oh.
So they're walking into the parking lot.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, sure.
Bill, and you should have been.
Yeah, maybe, but.
I would have figured it out sooner or later.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay. The last application, CB 24-053, 737 to 739 South Terrace Avenue. For Representative Daniel Meyer. Mayor, sorry. This is currently an apartment building. They are looking to add some additional units and remodel the apartment. There are 4 variances being requested. There's still 4, correct?
5.
Five.
You know, we talked about that in the commission.
Okay, let me name the 4 of them and then you add on the other one.
Absolutely, yeah.
There is a variance to allow ground floor residential in a C4 because this is zone C4. There is a variance to allow 6 parking spaces for 8 units rather than 12. That's still 6?
It's fine.
5 parking spaces instead of 12. There is a variance to allow a vision clearance of 27 by 27 rather than 30 by 30. That's actually the existing condition right now, because of how this building sits. Variance for setback of the building from 10 foot to 1 foot for the existing building, and the same variance for the addition that's going to be put on the back. And what's the other one?
The 5th one was the city had us add the parking setback to be reduced from 10 feet to 4 feet on the Whitehead side of the street.
Okay. 10 feet to 4 feet for the parking section.
Yeah, because the property line is significant. And if you remember, we kind of talked about the sidewalk stuff, but it's like, yeah, the lot line's all the way in, so.
You want me to just go?
Yeah, go ahead.
No,
Go
no
ahead.
problem. Yeah, so the owners that I'm representing, and Anthony Herman is here tonight, been in the community, actually on the property across the street. We're just adding about 1,300 square feet over 2 stories. So we have just under 700 square feet per floor. And as was mentioned, the majority of the variance is actually just because of the existing conditions of the house. The house as it is today, we're more or less just keeping it that way, except adding onto the back. We like the look of the house. It's good condition. Currently, it's 2 apartments on the 2nd floor. We will replace the stairs that are, on the verge of probably falling off. But the way C4, this is a block of C4 right there going down Whitehead. So it would require that the first floor be, retail or commercial use, which doesn't make a lot of sense considering everything around here is residential. I think at one point it was believed that was an ice cream shop a long time ago. So what they're looking for is just to be able to put apartments on that first floor level, redo the apartments on the 2nd floor, and then that small addition. And then behind the property, add parking and trash pickup that's connected to the alleyway. The house will maintain much of the similar character it is. Nothing's going to change from that. New windows, new doors, new sidings, new roof, all that. The 3rd floor is not usable. It's just, it would just be as it is today, which is adding truss space and be insulated. So that's about it. Take up too much time, but.
During the committee meeting, we voted 5 in favor for this. The owner of the building was there. He discussed how the current tenants, he's trying to find them somewhere else to live while he does the remodeling, which was, I think that was a plus for us that he cares about his tenants. There is going to be 1 fully accessible unit, correct?
Yeah, code requires that one be a type A. Right.
So 1 ADA unit, and the owner also said that he is looking into financing options for how he can keep these affordable, which was also a hopeful development. But in general, I think we were all in favor of it because it's a local, local man who's buying it and improving it. He has the property across the street. And just, somebody that isn't a major developer coming in and improving some housing is a positive in our view, so. Do you have questions from anyone? Any questions from community? Okay, well, I will move to approve these requested variances then, which are 5, and I already read them. If anyone doesn't remember them.
Second.
Think now, okay.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that I check that. Is this vote is for all 5 in the package?
Yes. Probably the most significant is the parking, only 5 slots for the 8 units, but there is adequate street parking. I ride my bike past this house all the time, and there's no problem with parking anywhere near there, really. I mean, Whitehead's not a good place to really park, but they are gonna be kind of improving that, not the curb, but the area there that the city pretends is the curb.
Was there any neighbor testimony at committee, or have you heard from neighbors?
I think that the owner said did he say he had talked to one of his neighbors? Do you remember, Simon?
There he is.
Oh, sorry. Did you tell us you had talked to your neighbors?
Thanks for staying on.
Yeah, he is also one of the neighbors.
So just to kind of give you a backstory on 727 South Terrace. The owner of this property approached me on buying this property. We haven't had any pushback at all from the neighbors. I actually know there's the house directly across the street is abandoned at the moment. So we're just looking to clean up that corner there. I think they're putting in a rain garden on my property right there on 727. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, did they discuss at all what rent would be? Or were they?
We're working with Homeful right now, with the affordable housing. You know, there's a lot of factors that come into play with construction, and we have yet to enter into that phase of getting numbers for construction. But we've made a great relationship with Homeful, which is the program that the tenants are on right now. They're looking to find temporary housing for them while we do construction. Plan is to bring them back after we finish construction. Keith, I know you had said earlier on your concern, you know, these corporate landlords coming in, not taking care of their properties. I'm here to tell you there are mom and pop investors still on the west side. I own a property right down the street from you on Sullivan Avenue. So super excited to be investing in the neighborhood that I grew up in.
Actually, I know you already made the most. I just have a quick clarifying question. The mailing address is in Michigan, but you said that you're local.
My cousin is buying this with me. She is in Michigan.
Okay.
She's from Columbus though.
Okay.
I'm gonna be managing the property, managing the construction.
Cool.
I'm just gonna interject here. We only have 20 minutes for the library closes, so we've got to move it along and we still have reports to do.
Okay. You want to take the?
Yep. Okay, thank you. We will start with our co-chair once again.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and with Commissioner Montana,
Yes.
Arjo is a yes, Smith,
Yes.
Maddox.
Yes.
Good for him. Bates,
Yes.
Bacon,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Eckler.
Yep.
Down.
Yes.
Neil.
Yeah.
Moore. That's even
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Next up for our reports of committees is community relations.
Keep it short. We discussed the bean dinner table, also discussed the upcoming neighborhood forum that'll be this Saturday at Glenwood United Methodist Church. Reminder to commissioners that Chair Bates Bryce sent out an email requesting all commissioners to submit questions for the panel by end of day tomorrow. Please submit those. Also, Commissioner Montana sent out an email about upcoming events with a sign-up sheet. If you could please revisit that sign-up sheet in case your calendar is freed up, specifically looking for assistance on the August 6th at Highland West National Night Out and August 10th for South Central Night Out. And if you signed up to assist for the Rise Up Columbus or C-Bus event on the 11th at Westgate Park and September 19th at Eakin Elementary, you may not have put your name down. Deal with Ashley. Next meeting will be June 25th, 7 p.m. at Best Side Design.
Next up is human services and education.
Okay, I just want to check because on the agenda, it does have government legislation next.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah, we met on May 23rd at West High School in the community room. We drafted and then subsequently submitted as a committee a letter to Columbus City Schools, the superintendent, the Board of Education, and the two facilities task force co-chairs, opposing the current task force process, but also offering a number of recommendations that are community and family and student focused. We've not heard a response to that. We did ask for, we've not heard a response, but I know they were meeting tonight and dealing with number of other community input. Next meeting will be the 19th at 6 here at the library.
Next up is Chairperson James White, human services and education.
Yeah, so the petition packet is available. It's on our website. We're also gonna formally publish it here at the end of the month, but it's ready to go if you're interested. As of right now, Bates, Fry, Maddox, Moore, Dallas, Skipley are all up for re-election. We are seeking to fill 4 positions, with the 5th one being filled in December, slash nominated in December and filled in January 2025. We are working on a new member packet. Please check your emails. I'm going to send out to all the committee chairs for requests for information. We're also going to be putting together some type of not requirement, but heavily suggested training courses that new and current members take this fall, since the city is going to be providing training sessions at the end of the year for new commissioners. Again, a lot of our election information is kind of set, but if there's any conflict or issue that you see happening in October, please email me and let me know so we can get it addressed. So far, I've already had one person request a petition. So if you are gonna plan on rerunning, please kindly let me know so we can appropriately plan for an election. There was a comment brought up about our bylaws, about our meeting times. We're gonna continue to discuss that at the next meeting, which is gonna be Tuesday, June 25th, right before the Community Relations Committee. We're gonna start at 6:30 at the Best Side Studio. And then real quick too, I'm just gonna hop into Parks and Rec. We did meet over at Glenview or Glenwood. The pool's looking really great. It's open. If you know anybody that wants to be a lifeguard, I believe they're paying $20 an hour. We did have an issue with the lower level. We are in contact with City of Columbus and waiting a response as to what's going on with the lower level. It's overgrown, it's full of trash. There's a ticket issue. So more information to come on that. We do have a conflict or a scheduling conflict on Saturday, 22nd for our park cleanup. That most likely is going to be moved to the 17th, which is a Monday. So it'll be in the evening, but more information to come on that. That's all I got.
Dan, do you, Chairperson, Stryker's not here. Do you have any information about the liquor?
He is not here tonight, but
Right.
we did meet for about 2 minutes in the last month, right after the zoning committee meeting. We did say that we'd like to have a liquor permit review committee meeting on June 18th. After the zoning committee meeting, I don't know how many zoning applications there are. There's a one, so projected that the meeting time for the committee would be 7 p.m.
Planning and economic development?
So the biggest thing that we met about was the right to access for 228 North Algonquin Avenue. So as you can see here, the property 228 North Algonquin is the parcel that ends in 201. The owner there wants to build an access way, so a driveway to the road there. However, the little strip there is owned by the city, and so they were requesting purchase of that strip, and we thought that it was reasonable and within reason, under the condition that good faith effort is made to talk to the owner at the parcel next at 3368 Joan Avenue, I believe, and then the parcel, the land parcel did not extend past the existing line. And then our next meeting is June 20th, I believe, at 6 p.m. at the library.
Thank you. I think it's ran out of juice. No, probably didn't. Chairperson, Kifla? Did I say that right?
Sorry, good one.
Kifla.
So we didn't really have a meeting. There was no one that showed up for our last meeting. So, and then we were gonna plan on knocking some doors, but it rained. That's our what is it called? Just our info as far as contact lists, right? We're meeting on the 29th, on the 27th, actually, it's the Thursday. It's the 4th Thursday of every month at 6:30.
It's changing every month. Every month.
That's not true.
Yeah, every month.
Anyway, so the meeting is when? When is the meeting again?
4th Thursday at 6:30 here.
Okay, 4th Thursday at 6:30.
We said that we were looking to change it, and then it was suggested that we don't change it yet, that you guys wanted some more time, but it looks like we can't seem to make up our mind whether Saturday looks better than Thursday, so let's just keep it consistent, the last.
Fourth Tuesday,
The
fourth Thursday.
of every month.
Not the last Thursday, right? We're saying the
Lee,
fourth.
you're a co-chair, so it's the 4th Thursday
fourth,
every month.
So,
Yeah.
And you guys get the email the week of the meeting saying, hey, we're gonna meet this Thursday. So.
Thank you.
Is it at 10 a.m. or 6:30? It says 10. Your meeting,
6:30.
it is 6:30 p.m. Thank you.
Because it's
Okay, say it one more time for me. Say it with.
Thursday, the 27th at 6:30 here.
Okay. And so moving along, there's no unfinished business. And there is no new business. So I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
All in favor? You all jump in all the time. All in favor? Thank you.
I'm just trying to move it along.
No, oh, you're trying to move it along? Peter?
Yeah, I don't think ever the zoning committee gets that.
They don't get that all, okay?
I've come here a couple times.
I don't.
No, even just the, oh, it gotta be summarized.
I know.
I just changed.
Okay, yeah, we can get that from me. Oh, people were on books last night.
And so I just need to know like. if it's changed, then I can change it, then I don't have to make
I've never been to Queen Bay, my wife's from Queen Bay, so we're Queen Bay. And I felt like the thing about going, if you go and you can get lost, you get like longer around when you're camping, do it night. I'm all put that like a day over, use a day, come back over. Yeah.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah.